Hi, everybody. I'm
Phillis Wheatley was born in West Africa in
discussion post.
1753. She was
the early
kidnapped by a
American
slave
poet
trader and
Phillis
taken to
Wheatley.
Boston in 1761. There she was bought by John Wheatley, a wealthy Boston merchant. The Wheatleys gave her the name of Phillis from the name of the ship that carried her to America. And as was common at the time, she was given her owner's last name. Her own name is not known. Within 16 months of arriving in Boston, she had learned to read English. She was able to read the Bible and was even reading Greek and Latin. She began writing poetry at the age of 14, and her first poem was titled "To the University of Cambridge in New England." Her writing was influenced by the writings of Alexander Pope, John Milton, Homer, and Virgil. Wheatley's best-known collection was called Poems on Various Subjects, Religious and Moral. And in 1773, she traveled to England with the Wheatley's son Nathaniel in order to promote the publication of her book. While in London, she met with the Earl of Dartmouth and with Benjamin Franklin. The majority of her work was about the American Revolution, primarily some of the activities that were happening in Boston. Some of her other works that speak to the American Revolution are On the Death of Mr. Snyder, Murdered by Richardson.
This was the only book she ever had.
This poem commemorated the 1770 killing of Christopher Snyder, an 11-year-old immigrant from Germany who was shot and killed by a customs official by the name of Ebenezer Richardson while he was participating in a demonstration on King Street in Boston. Her poem recounted the rage of the Bostonians, not just about the killing, but also their rage towards British soldiers and customs officials. Another of her poems was the one she wrote to celebrate King George's repeal of the Stamp Act. This poem, titled "To the King's Most Excellent Majesty," ends with an appeal to the king to end the contradiction between slavery and the naturally born rights of all Christians. Although the king certainly had no intention of changing anything regarding slavery in the American colonies, her poem did bring attention to the contradictions of a fight for liberty and freedom by a nation intricately tied to slavery. Phillis Wheatley was the first African American and second American woman to publish a book of poems. The Puritan writer Anne Bancroft was the first. Through the decades, or even the centuries, since her collection was published in 1773, she's been both glorified and vilified as a writer. Regarding her writing style, she's been praised as the leader of the African American literary tradition, while also being criticized as a poor imitator of Alexander Pope. She's also been criticized for not reflecting Black culture enough in her writing, which for the time would have been sort of difficult. But regardless of her writing style, did she have a role to play in the American Revolution, and did she make an impact? Because the Wheatley home was right there on King Street in Boston, she was likely to have been an observer of some of the subjects of her poems, things like the arrival of the British troops. She may have even witnessed the killing of Christopher Snyder or the Boston Massacre. Additionally, her strong Christian faith that she embraced after coming to America influenced her belief in equality and liberty as naturally born rights. She was one of the few enslaved people who supported the Patriots' cause, and she was one of the first, if not the only, enslaved person to write about the struggle for American freedom as a real way to free the enslaved. Wheatley died quite young. She was only 31, leaving behind her husband but no surviving children. She believed that slavery was the reason that prevented the colonists from achieving true heroism. Not only did Phillis Wheatley have a significant impact on early American literature, but her poems helped to prove the creativity and intelligence of human beings enslaved during a time when the nation was struggling towards liberty and equality. It could be said that her influence during the American Revolution helped to shape the growing abolitionist movement. Thank you.